If you step outside right now, everything looks normal. People go to work. Children go to school. Markets open and cities breathe. But beneath this normal world, there is something quietly cracking. Something we don't see, but we all live inside of. It's the global debt system. A system that touched every country, every business, every family. And today that system is beginning to shake. Not because of one event, but because of years of decisions we never questioned. For the first time in history, humanity owes $315 trillion. And the world is beginning to wonder, how long can this continue? Part 1, the lie we all believed. For decades, the world lived on a simple belief. Debt is fine. We'll deal with it later. Every crisis made this belief stronger. 2008, pandemic. Inflation. Wars. Each time, governments borrowed more and told people, don't worry, it's under control. But behind the curtain, a very different picture formed. Public debt rising faster than economies. Corporations drowning in borrowed money. Households surviving on loans instead of income. Debt stopped being a tool. It became a lifestyle, a necessity, a global habit. Part 2, how we got addicted. For 40 years, the world was addicted to cheap money. Interest rates kept falling. Borrowing became easier. Saving became pointless. Governments learned that borrowing fixes political problems. Corporations learned that borrowing boosts stock prices. People learned that borrowing makes life feel affordable. And so we built a global economy on a quiet assumption. Money will always stay cheap. But cheap money was never permanent. It was a phase, a moment in history. And now, that moment is ending. Part 3, a world quietly reaching the breaking. Look around the world. United States, spending more on interest than on its military. The strongest economy, but the biggest debtor in history. China, a real estate crisis that wiped out life savings. Developers collapsing. Ghost cities. Youth unemployment rising. Japan, the highest debt ever recorded in modern civilization. A country forced to choose between inflation or collapse. Europe, a currency union tied together by debt, aging populations and slow growth. Developing nations, some paying 50 to 60% of their government income just for interest. These aren't statistics. These are warning signs. Debt isn't just growing. Debt is outgrowing us. Part 4, what happens when a nation can't pay? When a country can't pay its debt, the symptoms appear slowly, then all at once. Food becomes expensive. Fuel becomes scarce. Hospitals struggle. Protests begin. Currencies crash. People lose trust in banks. Savings evaporate. We've seen it happen. Argentina, Sri Lanka, Lebanon, Turkey, Venezuela. Different continents, same story. A debt crisis doesn't announce itself. It creeps into everyday life. Until normal is gone. Part 5, the triggers we're afraid to admit. Economists disagree on the timeline, but they rarely disagree on the triggers. Trigger 1, interest rates staying high. If borrowing costs remain elevated, many nations will simply run out of money. Trigger 2, a major bank failure. Banks hold government bonds. If bond values drop, banks take the hit. Trigger 3, a sovereign default in a major economy. If Italy, China, or even Japan hits a crisis, the world will feel the shock instantly. Trigger 4, loss of trust in the US dollar. If the dollar weakens as a global reserve, the entire world financial system must rebuild from scratch. These are not fantasies. These are scenarios discussed privately by governments and financial institutions. Quietly, carefully, because the truth is uncomfortable. Part 6, if the system breaks. This is what you'll see. If the global debt system finally breaks, it won't look like a movie scene. It will look like everyday life changing. Groceries more expensive. Rent unaffordable. Jobs uncertain. Government services shrinking. Retirement plans failing. The banks imposing withdrawal limits. Currencies losing value. People turning to alternative money. International tensions rising. The danger isn't a sudden explosion. The danger is a slow suffocation. A world where life becomes harder every month. Part 7, can this be fixed? Yes, but the solutions are not easy. Solution 1, controlled inflation. Let prices rise, let debt shrink. Painful, but effective. Solution 3, a new global monetary framework. Maybe digital currency. Maybe a new reserve system. Maybe a multi-currency world. Every era ends with a transformation. Ours may be next. The moment of choice. The global debt time bomb is not a prophecy. It's a pattern. A pattern we've seen throughout history, and one we're repeating today. The world doesn't need to collapse, but it does need to change. The question facing humanity is simple. Do we fix the system deliberately, or does the system fix itself through crisis? Because one thing is certain. Debt can grow for decades, but it can't grow forever.